So at this point, we've done our test for the free chlorine, and for the sake of argument, we're going to say that it turned back to being clear. Now we need to test for the combined chlorine. So we have our nice clear sample. It's still the same water from the first test. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the R003, and we're going to add 5 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to turn our sample pink again. And now that we've added the 5 drops of the R3, we're going to be able to test for the combined chlorine. So our sample is pink once again. We're going to open back up our bottle of R871. And the same as the first test, we're adding drops one at a time until the sample turns from pink back to clear. And again, same parameters as the first time around. After each drop, you give it a little swirl. You want the sample to turn totally clear, not pink, kind of clear, and then back to pink, all the way clear. If it hasn't turned it with 1 drop, then you add the next one until it turns fully clear. So let's, for the sake of argument, say that we added 4 drops of that same R871 reagent back in there, and the sample turned clear. If we added 4 drops, again, we're multiplying by 0.2, so that will give us 0.8 parts per million of combined chlorine. As we discussed in the previous section, the maximum allowable in any body of water in the state of Rhode Island, indoor, outdoor, hot tub, pool, is 0.2 parts per million of combined chlorine. So this is 4 times the acceptable amount. If we got an actual test that had combined chlorine that high, at that point we'd shut down the pool, and then we'd have to shock the pool or superchlorinate the pool in order to get that combined chlorine number back down. If you have a combined chlorine problem with your pool, again, that's responsible for itching skin, red eyes, that smell of chlorine. The only way that you can get rid of combined chlorine is you need to reach what's called breakpoint chlorination. Breakpoint chlorination is adding 10 times the amount of combined chlorine in free chlorine to get rid of it. So for the example that we're talking about here, if we had 0.8 parts per million of combined chlorine, we would need to get our free chlorine to 8 parts per million, 8.0 parts per million of free chlorine to start reducing that combined chlorine number. And before we could reopen the facility, we need to get that 0.8 number down to below 0.2 for the combined chlorine to be satisfactory. So once we've taken those readings for free chlorine, combined chlorine, we fill them out on our log sheet. Again, when we're done with the test, dump out the sample. We want to do a good job of rinsing out that comparator so the next time we do a test, we don't have the residual reagents from this test contaminating that test.